Refueling. Request
Copy.
rearming.
Copy. Refueling complete. Rearming complete.
Run the starter.
Copy.
Okay, they may not have their radios on yet. Okay, I've loaded up with rockets this time. So it's not long distance tanks this time, it's rockets. I'll do a bit more rocket practice. Possible that Laxor will join me in this vehicle or another Mosquito later, possible, but we'll see. Because we've been working on directional radio directional finding using the aerial there, the loop aerial at the back, to find where the signal's coming from, so we can go and locate a Dave. And that's still in progress, so we'll see. Maybe Laxor will want to check that out further. I've got to carry on with a few more things ready for takeoff at the moment, like trims and stuff like that. I unlatched my flaps but I didn't set them, so I'll do that, ready for takeoff. Between 10 and 30. Okay, there's taxi. Radio check. unannounced, just in case anyone's needing to know. For 9 Mosquito 08 for takeoff. Oh, I think I hit a crater. Inspect that. And I think I lost a gear leg because I'm only seeing one red light, so my gear's up. I'll just check that. I think it's a crater on the wrong way. I'll see if I can see it and warn other people. In fact, my sim shaker is rattling around. I'm sitting on a sim shaker with various transducers on it. I can feel all the things that are happening, and I can feel it rattling around because of that gear leg being down. I can't remember exactly where it was. Fly along the wrong way. Well, I'm still not seeing it. Well, I tried to land, it's going to end in tears because I've only got one leg down. So whether it's fully down or what, I'm not sure. If I try to bring them up, who knows where. as I thought, it's my starboard gear leg that's up. The other one hasn't come up. Perhaps I was looking in the wrong place. Perhaps I should have been looking more to centre runway rather than the right. Okay, I'll try and put the gear leg down and all the gear down and see about landing. Pilots, be aware there might be a crater on the runway. I lost the gear leg. It doesn't retract. Still got it, but it doesn't retract. On takeoff, I heard and felt the bump, and one of my gear legs is not coming up, and it felt as though it was probably a crater, but I'm looking and I can't see it. I'm going to try landing and see what happens anyway. Well, perhaps I'll see about taking the gear up. No, that one's damaged. Oops, I'm on emergency. So bear in mind, folks, there might be a crater on the runway somewhere. I couldn't see it, but that's what it seemed like happened. So I could repair, I suppose. How far along? I could repair. I've got enough room if I pull onto the runway. Let's see about that.
Request repair.
I hadn't opened the window, had I?
Request repair. Copy.
So that story, for anyone that's just got here, when I took off, there was a vibration and a bump, and I lost. Well, I didn't lose a gear leg, but only one gear leg came up when I retracted. So there's something happened on the port gear leg. It's not coming up, and when I put the gear down to land, I didn't get two green lights. One of them stayed red, so it was like partially up, partially down. So that ended up in a very uncomfortable landing, but we seem alright. I don't think the map shows potholes, but I'll look just in case. I don't think I was this far along when I hit whatever it was. Bomb crater. No, I wasn't this far along. So, okay, well the aircraft's repaired. I've got two greens.
Run the starter. Copy.
Okay, let's get back onto the runway, having done repairs. bit tougher to move on the grass.
Oh, 124 check.
Copy.
Copy.
Tube okay?
Yeah, received.
There might be a bomb crater on the runway. I just had an incident where, as I was taking off, I heard and felt a bump, and one of my gear legs wouldn't then retract. So I thought it was a bomb crater, but I couldn't see anything. I've flown up and down the runway and can't see a crater.
Right, okay. It depends. When the runway gets bombed, I think it's 30 minutes before it disappears. So maybe it might be on the line. I don't know. It's without knowing when it happened and if it happened, it's really difficult to tell.
Okay, so yeah, it might have been bombed sort of in the region of just under half an hour before I got there. So it was still there, and now I can't see it. That would kind of make some sense. Okay, well I'm going to take off 08.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm taking the hits at the east end of the runway. Okay, well that was successful. I've just taken out 2 units of infantry at the east end, so that made up for the problem earlier on in the gear.
Was it just the 2 groups, or was there more?
Say again?
Was there just the 2 groups, or was there more?
Well, I'm not seeing more. There's one group that shot at me. I went back and got them, and then as I was coming back, I just happened to notice visually another unit of 5 infantry. So I took them out with rockets. Incidentally, I believe that setting the aileron trim to 1 division clockwise, to me that has made quite a difference in the handling, especially at takeoff, because it was running about at takeoff. I've adjusted it and it seems better.
Alright, that's good. The BTRs at the east end of the runway are now removed, so we've got a little bit of breathing space.
Excellent, thank you. I think I'm about to lose my port engine. There's a hole in it and I started getting a slightly odd noise. So I'm near the airfield, I'm just at the east end, west end, I might land.
Roger, I might have missed one.
Say again?
Missed one.
Missed one. Four 908 landing.
Roger.
Four 9 north edge of 08 for repair and rearm.
Roger that.
Repair, I've got to cut my engines.
Request repair. Copy. Request refueling. Request rearming. Copy.
Oh yes, I've taken hits to both engines. Got to remember to shut that door.
Refueling complete.
They always leave it open. $110 and they will repair me. Repair takes about 5, maybe 10 seconds. 5 probably. Hello, who's just going to be buzzing me? Oh,
They are incomplete.
oh dear, don't hit me. I think that's undead. Oh dear. Yeah, that's undead. Uh, 60 seconds. on the ramps. Okay, I'll do another sortie in the Mosquito. I've got rockets on board. They came in useful on the last little sortie, so let's see about getting going again.
Run the starter. Copy.
Porno Mosquito 08 for takeoff. Folks, be advised, we have 109s over the airfield.
Okay, Roger.
I can't do much about them in a mozzie, so I'm just going to carry on and hope they don't go for me.
Okay.
I'm north of the airfield.
I see someone shooting at the ground under the tail.
Shooting at the ground, well, I was.
No, I just saw a tail of whoever was shooting at the ground. If that was you, so there was a 109 on your tail then.
Yeah, I think he's hitting me. Can't do anything about it. I'll just head back to the airfield and know that our guys get in. I'm in a bit of a mess though. Landing would be a very dicey prospect. He's still taking shots at me and hitting. Our guys just let him get on with it by the looks of it. Well, I'm still breathing, but that's about it. I think it's time for me to jump in a Spitfire. I'm down to 10 and 17 FPS here. What's going on, I wonder?
complete. Rearming complete.
One oh nine's incoming north. Copy. I was going to come in on at the west, but I'll come in. I'll go round and come in on the east. So look at that. Okay, I've got views on the runway, which is there, some distance yet.
Tucking into the left side of the airfield, I'll try and get over to the exit.
Copy. I've got a little way to go yet. Just chased a 109 down towards Nalchik and it was worth it. I got him in the end. I had a head on it with him and I must have damaged him, I think. And then I picked up on him again and took him down from the 6.
I did get one north of the airfield. I've got one in the air to the north of the airfield now. Looks like maybe an A20.
Okay, I'm not too far from the airfield now. I'll come in from the west though, although I'm coming in from the east. Sorry, I'll come in from the east, although I'm currently coming in from the west. I'll go around coming from the east on 26. I'm Dave, if you have your radio on, if you copy, I'm going to be coming in on 26, but I will, I'll go over the top of you, no problem.
Not fun. I'm on the runway. Just a heads up, there's a dead 109 at the end of the runway.
Ah! Okay, maybe I should have zoomed in on the map, and that would have made more sense then. Okay, thank you. One on landing 26. Yeah, that felt good. They'd have changed, because a lot of my landings recently have been pretty poor, but that one felt good. I'm on the north edge of the runway for rearm. Although, what's the time? I've only got 10 minutes. I might just revel in the glory of having chased and got that 109. That's a little one.
I was going to go maybe for half hour.
Okay, well I'll see how it goes. That felt good to get the 109, having chased him all that time. I mean, he was at full black. I thought I was going to burn my engine out. And I say, then he made a climb and a turn and came at me, and I'm sure I must have hit him. It's just a hail of bullets. I didn't see any sparks particularly, but I think I must have hit him. And then I caught up with him again and got on his 6.
Request refueling. Request rearming. Copy.
That was a good little sortie, a good little chase. It's nice when you chase an aircraft all that time and then you finally get him, so that's good.
Refueling complete.
Just waiting to rearm. Frame rate's not very good. It's sort of dropped down 25, bit
Rearming
17, it's 19. It's up there in the top left-hand corner. It should be much better than that. Much better. This happens every now and again. It's like DCS do something which affects the frame rate, and when it affects the frame rate enough, they eventually do something to sort it out. Okay, I'm sure it's a good army complete, so I'll take it off and see what happens. Set my trims first. Actually, I landed without flaps just then, I just realised. Not the way. I got a bit close to the runway before I was ready to deploy, and I just sort of got a bit tight and just forgot it. Okay, 49 preparing the takeoff till 6. I'm not sure if I said that on the aircraft radio or not. So So if I didn't only send it to you, they won't occur. But I think I'll do it. I'll have a quick look. Yeah. Oh, Lexos is in an I-16. Okay, 49 taking off 26.
That looked rather floaty.
Yeah, it was a bit. I haven't adjusted my trim. That's better. I've adjusted my trim now. It's not going to be so floaty as it was.
The airfield will probably remain clear until that last A20 that's flying around is taken out. So it depends if you're on quiet airfield or not.
Sorry, quiet airfield or not? Say again?
There's one A20 flying around still, but that will be holding everything from respawning. So, if you want a quiet airfield, then just let it fly around doing its thing.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I wasn't particularly intending to go for it, but I will if you want.
No, it depends if you want a quiet airfield or not, that's the thing. It's, it will cause more to come if you take it out.
Yeah. Alright, well I won't kick anything off at the moment. centre. Yeah, not bad. Nice to see you there. I just had a nice, it was a long trip, but I chased a 109 down close to Nalchik, and he climbed and did a 180 and turned on me, so we did a head on. And I must have hit him, and then I just chased him and got him. Oh, okay. Jolly good. No, that's fine.
Streaming so I can type and fly the 51.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Trying to play that song sounds better than when I try
Well, I've only literally just kicked off, and of course it's only one section. It's not even the second part of that section yet, which I'll be able to get. Actually, there's none of it that seems particularly difficult. Even the lead guitar part is not, as far as I can tell. I haven't tried it properly yet. Not difficult, but the main thing about those is just remembering it. It's like with Parisian Walkways, just remembering it all is a bigger problem than actually playing the parts. Once you can remember it, then playing it is not so much of a problem. Got a message from Laxer saying his DCS has crashed. And the call centre that was on the 12 string as it is on the original. So I don't know whether to use the strap for the lead part, or as they do, use acoustic. In which case, for me, it's the tailor. So I've got to decide what I'll do on that. Assuming I get that far, we'll see. That'll learn me, won't it? That'll learn me. I sort of lost concentration for a second there. Did a Douglas Bader. Okay, radio check. Radio check. I'll see if Laxor's going to respond, see if he's got his radio on. Radio check.
One, two, four, check.
Okay, yeah, copy. You getting me?
Yep, I did. I assume that last pass was a little bit too low.
That's my Douglas Bader manoeuvre. Yeah, I lost concentration for a split second and that was enough.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I'll take off or not. It's what? It's 20 to 3. Can't do all that much. I don't know. I'll wait and see if there's any response on my stream as to what they want and take it from there. There's a couple of things I've got to deal with before I turn in anyway. So I'll see how it goes.
You what, sorry?
I'm just going to see how it goes as to whether I take off again or not. I'll see if there's any requests on my stream and take it from there. Okay, so anyone on my stream, have you got any preference? I've got a very itchy leg. Have you got a preference as to if or what I fly?
How long does a takeoff take?
I don't know, a couple of minutes I suppose. I've got to get started. I've got a taxi along there, along the further taxiway, along that way, and then that's the runway. Couple of minutes. Are you good for that? That's Peach Tea Lingo. Okay, Lingo.
PT Lingo. Whatever you want to do.
I mean, no, I mean, if you're okay time-wise, I mean, I don't want to start that and then find that you've had to go, so I've wasted my time with it. But if you, time-wise, if you're happy for me to do that, I'll do it. So that I'll get started anyway. You want me to talk through my startup?
All right.
Shall I
Sounds
talk through
good.
startup? Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I don't know if you caught that. I'll just talk through startup anyway. So first thing is I'm going to put my brake on, but it's not receiving it at the moment because I'm using my push to talk. Oh no, hang on. It hasn't got, DCS hasn't got focus, so let's get it focused. Right, let's get that cross out of the way. Right, so brake is now fully on, which is what I want. I'm going to put my prop pitch fully fine. That's this one here, and you'll see the prop pitch lever move. Prop pitch is fully fine. I'll push the throttle until it operates a little switch that it's difficult to see, but it's just under there, and it puts the power on so that I can see my gear light. There's my gear indicator light now. So I'm going to put my panel lights on. And then open the two covers that for the starter and the booster. Also gonna turn on my fuel pump, which you probably won't hear, but it does make a noise, a tiny noise. Fuel pump is on, and I'll open the throttle, the fuel cock. And I'll put on the magnetos. I could click them, but I've got a switch at the back here. A couple of switches for them, so I'll do that. Not sure who that is. Could be undead. Right, magnetos are on, fuel is on, brake is on. If I haven't got the brake on, when she starts up, she'll start nudging forward. I didn't actually get armed, so I'll do that, because if I don't, I'll have no bullets. We start off with no armament. Using voice attack to get this little menu up. Ignore the rockets, that doesn't apply to a Spitfire. Okay.
Request refueling.
So again, I get refueled, rearmed, and in the meantime I'll get the engine started and adjusted my trims and stuff. So everything is ready. I'll just prime the engine and start. And to start it, I've got to flick this lever here forward. Once it starts to turn over, I'll flick that lever forward and it'll be gone. And I've got a button around the back here of my throttle unit that I can do that with. So we're good to start. I'll prime it first. 4 pumps is good.
PT lingo. Very interesting.
Tell you what is also interesting. I don't know how much. I'll wait a few seconds for your response. How much do you know about the Spitfire? Are you really well versed about the Spitfire, or do you not know that much?
PT lingo. Only very little.
Okay, Lingo. Well, I'll explain then something. Well, first of all, I'll ask you a question, which I hope you won't be able to answer, because it's good fun if I have to tell you. Do you know what these are? Can you guess what these are? These blobs. Can you guess what they are? I'll be getting started while we wait for your answer. I've already primed it. I'm going to push my booster and starter buttons at the same time with a couple of keys on my keyboard, and when it starts to turn over I'll hit that button that puts the fuel lever forward. Oh, what's happened there?
Something that gives engine status.
No, it's not, but I'll tell you what it is. If I do this, hold on, the switch over here turns on my illuminated sight. Well, with all the vibration of gunfire and takeoff, in here there's an incandescent bulb. Didn't have LEDs in them days, so if that bulb element blows because of that, you lose the sight. So you unplug this unit here on a cable, unplug that, grab one of these, they are spare light bulbs, discard, I don't know where it goes, discard the light bulb that's in there that's blown, put a new one in, plug it all back in, and you got your illuminated sight back. Most people don't know that. I didn't know that until I started flying in DCS.
Oh, very cool.
Another little cool thing that I'll mention on here before I go much further. I don't know why the engine didn't start. I must have forgotten something. Magnetos are on and everything, but let's do it again. But anyway, before that, if I set these switches here appropriately, when I press that button, I'll jump out, and I can press this button, not with the mouse, but when I jump out I can push the key on my keyboard. So let's jump out. Right, so when I press that key, you see there's a light flashing. There's also a belly light, which is not so easy to see, the belly light, but it reflects off the ground. So if my radio gets shot to bits, I can still communicate with the rest of the section by Morse code using that light. So once again, most people don't know that. It's just not something I like to impart. Okay, so let's do this engine start again. I don't know what I forgot there. That's because I'm talking. I'm terrible when I speak. I tend to forget to do stuff. Right, let's put this lever back to its position. I'll prime it again. The fuel cock is on. Well, fuel cock is open. Fuel pump is on. Everything should be good. 4 pumps. And close it. Crack the throttle and push those 2 buttons, and let's see if it starts this time. It should. I don't know why it didn't. I think we've got a start bug. Occasionally there's a bug that means that whatever you do, the engine is just not going to start. So I'll respawn and go through this lot again. Okay, let's see if it behaves this time. It should be all right. I'm assuming you're still there. Yeah. Okay. Actually, I wonder if although I spoke about the magnetos previously, I wonder if I actually turned them on. Perhaps I didn't. That would explain it. Right, prime. And we'll go for a start. I'll crack the throttle and away we go, hopefully. There we go. Right, whilst the engine's warming up a tad, I will set my altimeter and my 2 trims. So I'm going to zero the altimeter and I'll set my trim to level. A lot of people like the nose down trim, like to be like one big vision nose down, but I'm comfortable with it level. Only move slowly. And I'll adjust my rudder trim, which is difficult for me to point out with my head tracking, is down there to give fully right rudder. A fully right rudder trim. I don't know if you know how trim works, but on each of the control surfaces, like the elevator and the rudder, if I jump out, I don't know if I'll be able to point to it, but on the rudder, the very back of the rudder, there's a small rudder, if you like. That's the trim. So when I adjust the rudder trim, it adjusts that to give like a very fine adjustment. And likewise on the 2 horizontal surfaces of the tail plane, you've got another 2 of those, one on each side. And that's the elevator trim. So the elevator trim I have as level, and the rudder trim I have as fully right. Although I think there's a graphic issue because it actually goes fully left, but it flies okay, so it's just a graphical thing. I'm going to get armed. Once again, I'll use voice attack for that, hopefully, assuming it doesn't play up. Yeah, copy. You copy me? That was Lex. Yeah, copy Lex, you copy me?
Yep, proceed. Are you staying on for much more, or are you calling it there?
Well, I've got somebody that I'm explaining the Spitfire to, so I'll hang on a little bit while I explain this, but I'm not sure how long that'll be.
Refueling complete.
Not sure if either I did transmit or you're transmitting on the wrong screen.
No, I'll transmit to my stream instead of to you. Sorry about that. I've got someone on my stream. I'm explaining the Spitfire to them, so I'll be at least here to do that for a while. I'm guessing at least 10 minutes. I'm guessing. I don't know.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so I'll carry on explaining to them now. So I've got radio on, but I'll be talking only on the stream for the moment.
Yeah,
Right.
that's fair enough.
I've been
I'll
with you.
probably drop out well, because you'll be talking, I don't want to keep interrupting, but I'll probably drop out imminently and catch you tomorrow night.
Yep, sure thing. Okay, all right. Yeah, catch you tomorrow. Yeah, it's actually not massive tonight, but it was very pleasant. It was very enjoyable. I got a kill of that 109, chased him down to Nalchik and got him. So that was quite good. But yeah, catch you tomorrow night then.
Alright, take it easy.
Yep, TTFN. Okay, so Laxor's going to fold for tonight. I'm ready to go. I've sorted everything out, all my trims, my altimeter. So now I'm going to taxi in that direction. Now when you taxi in a Spitfire, there are not toe brakes. Now on other aircraft, the way the rudder works is you slide your feet backwards and forwards. So you slide your right foot forward and your left foot back to do right rudder. And if you want to brake, you tilt your foot forward a bit like an accelerator, and that puts braking on. But it's not the case on a Spitfire. On a Spitfire you've got one brake lever, that's this one here, And what happens is if you want to turn right or left, it's easier to show left at the moment. I'll give it left rudder and apply some braking, and then that puts braking on the left wheel, which causes me to turn. Likewise, opposite way round for the right. And if I put braking on when the rudder pedal's on level, it puts braking onto both wheels. Right, so I'll take the brake off and get taxi. It's not easy to show my feet because if I look down for you or look up for me, I'll stop for a minute and adjust my head tracking so that hopefully you'll see it better. Right, so now my feet are a bit more visible and I can still see reasonably forward. So here we go, brake off again. Throttle. I'm going to use the brake and the throttle and the rudder to guide the aircraft. It's not intuitive, it does not feel comfortable at all, but you get used to it. Let me know if you have to go lingo, won't you? Please let me know, otherwise I'm talking to myself.
PT Lingo. Yeah, that looks very old.
And it's like a boat. If you start to make a turn round to the right, you've got to stop before you want to.
Trying to use the pedals and the brake at the same time.
Yeah, that's right, the pedals and the brake. Generally speaking, you can hold the throttle where it is. I could leave the throttle there, about 14 or 1500 RPM. So then it's mainly the brake and the throttle. So turn right is right, and then a bit of brake, and then left is left and a bit of brake. That's the way it works. That's the way an actual Spitfire works. And I'll run through takeoff before I do it. It doesn't take long to just talk through it, and then I'll do it without talking. Incidentally, when you heard Laxor speaking earlier on, you'll have heard him speaking and it would have sounded like a radio. You hear me as if I'm talking to you on Discord, but you hear Laxor as if he's speaking on a radio. It has a radio sound and it has radio properties. So if you get too far away, it starts to fade out. If there's a mountain in the way, you can lose contact. It is like a radio. And likewise, on his stream, his viewers would hear me as if I'm on a radio and hear him as if he's on Discord. That's the way it works. Right, now to take off, I'm going to take my handbrake, my brake off, fully off. I'm not going to do it just yet. I'll leave the brake on, but I'll take the brake off. I'll pull the stick fully back in full right aileron and throttle up. As we start moving along, I'll be dancing on the rudder pedals to keep us straight, and as I'm throttling up, getting the boost gauge up to about 8, which is there, and by the time it gets to 8, I'll have let the stick come back to its normal position, and then by the time we get to about 85, 90 miles an hour on this on here, about there, I'll then rotate gently, lift her up, get the gear up, which you'll see the gear indicator there will change from down to up. Once I've done that, I would need to set my trim, change my trim from level. Let's zoom in. I'll change it from level to 1 division of nose up. I will also put my rudder trim back to, not back to normal, let's jump out. I'll set the rudder trim so that the double D of the word rudder is basically at the 12 o'clock mark.
Peter
And then
Newman.
we're
And you change the trim while still touching ground.
no, I change the trim only after I've taken off. At the moment the trim is level, but I'll change the trim once I've taken off. Once the gear is up, I'll adjust the trim. I'll also pull back the prop pitch.
Peter Newman. Ah, okay.
Yeah, I'll also pull back the prop pitch, which affects the RPM. I'll pull that prop, that's this one here. I'll pull the prop pitch back to about 2,700 RPM. Then after that, it's just a case of close the canopy if I want to, but I love the sound of this engine with the canopy open. And then turn my sight on and make my guns ready. There's a little pip at the top of the stick there. I'll operate it so you can see. So the guns are now ready, but I wouldn't normally do that on the ground, so I'll make them safe again. So I'll put my sight on. Once I've done all that other stuff, I'll put my sight on and make my guns ready, and then we're ready for action. So I don't know if you can remember all that. I don't know if I can remember all that. So I'm going to take the brake off, stick back, full right, full right rudder, and then full right aileron. The rudder is already set for trim. And that's the other thing. Once I'm airborne, I'll set my nose down trim back to about 1 division of nose up, and oh yeah, I've said I'll put the rudder back to the double D. So let's go. Stick back, full right, and throttle up. Classic mistake, because I'm talking, I didn't take my brake off. That could have been easily a nose over brake your prop job there. So first thing is not stick back, first thing is brake off. Stick back, full right, throttle up. Dancing on the pedals as necessary. Sticker's now back to its normal position. I'm at takeoff speed, gear up. Watch the gear indicator for the gear up. I'll adjust my trim. Only adjustment there. Trim's about right. I'll adjust it, that's the nose trim, so now I'll adjust the rudder trim. Let's basically hold that for about 6 seconds because I can't keep looking at it. Right, that's about okay for a rudder trim. And I'll pull the prop pitch back to give about 2,700 RPM. Now I'll pull the throttle back to give me about 7 on the boost. So now we're good for flying. But I like the sound of this with the canopy open. It's a lovely sound. You'll hear the difference in a minute if I make a turn. I'm going to adjust my head tracking again now because I don't need you to see the pedals well, because you don't generally use the rudder very much at all while you're flying. Didn't need much adjustment. Right, so I'll close the canopy and you hear the change in sound, but that change is lovely when I open it. I love the change in sound. You get like it's like a phasing effect of the prop wash as the prop turns. get a lovely phasing effect. So now what else I'm going to do, because I'm talking I forgot, is put my sight on.
Yeah, I like the open canopy sound.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Sight is on, make my guns ready. And now we're ready for action. So I'm going to make a turn and then I'll open the canopy. I mean, just listen to that. I don't know how you're doing it, but that's beautiful for me. And just for fun, what I'll do is I'll head out west, so that's that direction, and I'll climb up to about 2,000 feet. I'll invert and then pull the stick back so that I get a 180-degree turn. Oh, we're up 2,000 feet, 2,500 feet already. There's the altimeter. I'll take it up to 300. I'll level off, and now I'll invert and then pull the stick back to make that 180-degree turn. We're going to end up going in the opposite direction. Here we go. What I was saying earlier on about taxi, there's a very famous phrase about a Spitfire, and that is, she's a lady in the air, but she's a bitch on the ground. And that's because she's got a very small wheelbase, like the 109. The BF 109 was also uncomfortable in that respect. So it's easy to mess it up. Yeah. It's easy to mess it up on the ground, but once you're in the air, she's beautiful. What's her altitude? Only at 1.5. I prefer to be at least 2,000 before I make that 180-degree manoeuvre. Level off. Stick back. And of course, I don't know if you fly in DCS, if you do you'll know, but if you don't you might not. If I pull back too much, if I pull the stick back too hard, I'll undergo G-forces that will cause me to black out. So I've got to be a bit careful with that. There is a bit of a hint in as much as the green becomes a bit grey, and then you know you're getting close to a point where you might black out. So what I'll do, just for the hell of it, I'll go and attack south, roughly centre screen now. There's a road with a bridge. Just there's a ring of a row of trucks which are passive. They won't shoot at you, but they're good target practice. But there's a bridge, and on there's a rail bridge and a road bridge, and on the road there are 4 BTRs, and if you don't know, that's a bit like a tank, if you like, so they can be dangerous. So I'm going to go in now and have a go. I'm going to attack those BTRs. I'm going to close my canopy because it's a bit safer with your canopy closed in case bullets come my way. And when I fire at these BTRs, the tendency of course is that they scatter, which is what you'd expect under attack. People don't just sit there waiting for the next attack, they get out of the way. I don't know if you can see them, there's 4 little dots on the road. Got 3 of them. But there's also infantry down there. I know it's only infantry, they carry some really nasty stuff that could quite easily shoot me down. So I don't know where that other one is, because he would have scuttled off probably into the trees somewhere. I'll make a turn and see if I can see him. There's a train down there. I could shoot the train, but that causes like a train log jam. Because if you've got a dead train, other trains can't get past it, and they all just sort of sit static, and it's just nicer to see the trains moving, I think.
PT Lingo. Is it normal to go that low during a strafe run?
Is it? I'm not sure. Hang on. That's the 4th one. Is it normal to go that low? Well, I do. It's probably not, but I just find I'm more accurate if I do it that way.
Okay, I get you on.
But I'll go for the trucks that I mentioned, which won't fire back at me. Bearing in mind, your ammo on a Spitfire disappears very quickly. But there's a line of trucks, they're passive. I'll see how many I can get. Sometimes I get all of them, other times I get 2. Yeah, that was a good enough run. But there's always one that is away from the rest of them, so there's one left. When they're all destroyed, when that one that's left, when that's destroyed, they will all respawn. So they're good for target practice. That's it. They're all destroyed. And although you can't see it because of the flames, they will respawn in the same spots as they were in. So, Lingo, do you fly at all in DCS?
Did you ask a question?
Oh, sorry, yeah, I was saying, do you fly in DCS? Okay, I've only got 7.7s left now. All my 20 mils are gone.
Oh, no, I just play /watch War Thunder and only watch DCS on occasion.
Oh, okay, yeah, we used to do War Thunder, but we only really do DCS now.
But it seems cool to play. But very complicated.
It's not really that complicated. It's like if I was to show you a route from point A to point B through various streets, that might seem complicated, but once you've done it a couple of times, you've got it. It's a simple thing. Okay, I have taken a little bit of damage, but I don't, because see these marks on the wings are bullet holes. I don't think I'll need to get repaired, but I will land and get
Fair
rearmed.
enough. I'll have to give it a go one day.
Yeah, do you use a flight stick and rudder pedals, or do you use keyboard? Because in honesty, I wouldn't recommend keyboard. okay. I mean, some people do, but I mean, if I only had keyboard and mouse, I wouldn't be here flying now. To be honest, I want the rudder pedals, the stick and the throttle and head tracking. I need all that to make it feel immersive. Right, I can drop my gear now.
Right. I want that as well.
Yeah, and of course that's not cheap. My throttle stick alone here, these two units you see, they'll be about, UK wise, 400 quid. Whereabouts are you on the planet? So I'm going to drop my flaps. Yeah, most people that we speak to are US because of the times that we fly. So I'm guessing you'd be looking at easily 400 bucks for this throttle and stick setup.
Yeah, earlier I realized it's probably around 2 AM for you.
Yeah, a bit later than that. I can't look at the clock at the moment, but I will in a sec. Yeah, it's 3:20 for me at the moment. We tried to stop at 2:30, and for some reason we don't seem to get started till midnight, so it's only a couple, 2.5 hours or so. Sometimes it goes on a lot longer. Well, as it has tonight. When things are working, you tend to stay a bit longer. I've just put my flaps up because if you have your flaps down in a Spitfire, when you're taxiing, etc., what it can do, let me just jump out for a moment. I can't point, but just under the wings there you see a couple of radiator inlets, and if you have your flaps down, the flaps get in the way. But I'll put the flaps down to show you. So they get in the way of the cooling, so your engine can overheat more quickly, so you need to get the flaps up once you don't need them anymore, i.e. once you've landed. Don't use flaps for takeoff on a Spitfire, only for landing. So I'm out of the way. I don't think anyone else is here anyway, but what I'll do is just move off to one side of the runway to get rearmed. That'll do, I think. Right, I'll get rearmed.
PT Lingo. Did you readjust the trims again?
Not for landing, no, I left the trims as they were for landing. So I adjust the trims for takeoff, and then after I've taken off I adjust them for flight. And maybe, I don't know if I should or not, I mean maybe I should, I don't adjust the trims for landing, but I think the answer is if you trim it right, the aircraft will fly itself. So yeah, if I was to trim it appropriately, I wouldn't have to use the stick so much for landing. The trim might do it, but no, I didn't adjust them after that.
PT Lingo. Ah, gotcha.
And this is the radio, so we tend to use this channel to talk to each other. It's much nicer than using Discord because it gives, once again, that little bit more immersion because it sounds like a radio. And it has the properties of the radio of like sometimes losing contact. But as I say, if I do lose my radio completely, can't see it from this angle, but then I can use the Morse code key to communicate with the rest of the section if we're in one. Sometimes we'll fly out together, and of course in this I was flying earlier on in the Mosquito, and the Mosquito being a two-seater, Laxor was getting, like last week Laxor got in it and he was the navigator and radio operator, and we were using directional finding radio to locate someone on the ground who was about 15-20 minute flight away. So we took off, flew for 15 minutes, Laxor gave me directions and which to go, way to go, and then we located the guy and then flew back. So it might sound a bit boring, but it was actually really quite good fun. You feel as though you've actually had a purpose in doing something. Taking some damage at the back of the fuselage there. I don't think there's anything critical, to be honest, but rudder pedals, elevator, hang around. Always best to check them, because although it's not a real aircraft and bolts are not going to fall out, it's not impossible that for some reason you get in the air and you realise that you haven't got any ailerons because somehow your USB has stopped recognising it. So it's always best to just check everything anyway. Not that I do all the time, but it's best to. Right, so would you like to see the Mosquito, or are you not gonna hang about for much longer, or what?
I think I'll head out now. But thanks for showing me the ropes. How often do you stream?
Well, you're most welcome. It's nice to have people there, especially like yourself, where you're asking really relevant questions to do with trim and all that sort of stuff. It's really good to have people there. Nice to talk to them, and it's nice when they ask questions. So that's really good. I stream twice a week, like Friday night and Saturday night. We normally start about midnight UK time. It used to be 10:30 UK time, and it's gradually slipped and slipped. So we generally start about 10 p.m. Midnight, and then we go through to 2:30 on the Saturday morning, and then we fly again the same sort of time span on the Saturday evening.
Sundowns. 6 p.m. Central is midnight there in UK.
Which is why we get going, and then we start to see people coming on, because you're just turning your computers on at sort of 7 o'clock in the evening, aren't you?
Okay, in Central Time, so that works good for me.
Okay, well, look forward to seeing people here. It's always good to have the interaction. But I realise you've got to head out now, Lingo, so thanks for being there, and maybe catch you another time, maybe tomorrow night.
Yup, I'll try to pop in tomorrow. See ya, hype wave, hype wave.
Yeah, copy that, Lingo. Take care. TTFN. So, Santa, assuming you're still there, I'm thinking that I should fold now, because it's now an hour after our normal time. and I've still got some things to do before I turn in, as I always have. So I probably won't get into bed till 4:30. And I've been suffering with a bit of a back just lately, so I'm trying to look after that as well. So maybe catch you tomorrow night, Sandra.
Sundowns. All right, sir, have a beer or a drink for the back. Sundowns. Later, buddy.
Yeah, I might have a nightcap, a tot of rum. Why not? Okay, yeah. Take care, Santa. TTFN. And for the sake of anyone else that might be there that I'm not aware of, whether it's a bot or not, thanks for being there, and I'm going to close the stream now if anyone wants to join us tomorrow.